definition of a user versus a developer can get a bit hazy, especially when the user is sufficiently technical that they're able to review the code that they're running, they're able to configure the software in exactly the way they want. They're able to test the software, run the tests, understand what the tests are doing, etc. I mean, in this case, the user is sufficiently technical that if they wanted to, they could contribute to the project, and they could end up being a developer on the project. And so, yeah, it becomes hazy between what's a developer and what's a user, especially when the user gets more and more technical. But what is undisputed is that to be a technical user, and certainly to be a developer, you need to be using command line on your laptop or on your computer, on your server, and just using a mouse or a trackpad and clicking, double clicking, right clicking, the sort of thing isn't sufficient to be able to give the controls to your computer that are sufficiently granular so that it does exactly what you want, and so that you can customize the software in whatever way you want, right? So I've got up here the installation instructions on macOS for Bitcoin Core. If you're on Linux, you probably don't need a video on command line, and if you're on Windows, you can get a similar command line experience as you can on macOS. So I'm going to focus on macOS. These are the instructions, and so it's basically just putting commands into your terminal, ensuring that the right dependencies are installed, etc. And then you can get Bitcoin Core up and running without just double clicking on an icon or something like this. And the benefits really become clear later on once you're trying to get the software to do exactly what you want, and perhaps the GUI doesn't provide what you need. Okay, so those are the instructions for installing Bitcoin Core on macOS. Similarly, if you're interested in Lightning implementations, there's the installation instructions for Core Lightning here, macOS. Similarly, you're just putting commands into your terminal, pressing enter, and ensuring that the required dependencies are installed. So yeah, entering commands into command line into terminal. This is the way you really should be installing software. So how do you get started? Well, there is a terminal app installed by default on macOS. So like any other application, you can open it up just by searching your applications and finding terminal and going into terminal. I actually use iTerm2. It has a few features that terminal doesn't. This isn't installed by default on macOS. You do need to install this if you want to use this rather than terminal. But yeah, up to you. You might want to get started with terminal that's installed by default, and then later on understand some of the features that iTerm2 has on top of what terminal has. For resources for learning how to use command line in a terminal, there is this really good free pamphlet from Tracy Osborne, really friendly command line intro. This will get you started with navigating around a file system, around directories, creating new files, creating new directories, and getting started using command line. So that's a really good resource for beginners. There's an accompanying video that is also recommended from Tracy Osborne. bit more advanced, but still very accessible, is this bite-sized command line programming zine from Julia Evans. This will help you a lot more once you start like searching through a code base or trying to control the processes that are running on your computer, rather than just navigating around a file system, creating files, creating directories, etc. So this would be this would be the next step once you're comfortable with all the commands that Tracy goes through in her command line intro. Okay, so those are the resources. I'll just go through some basics to get you started that covers some of the material in this command line intro. So we'll go to, this is what a full screen terminal looks like. This is what a full screen item2 looks like. So identical, just a command line prompt currently. The first command you should learn is pwd, which is print working directory. So pwd, enter. That will tell you where in your file system you are. The graphical representation of this is here. So currently it's completely empty. In this to be deleted directory, there's nothing there. So let's create something in this directory. We can also see that there's nothing in here by doing ls, enter. So that's list, nothing there. So when we list the files and directories within this directory, there's nothing there. So let's create something. So to create a file, you need to use the touch command. So touch, and then let's call the file a new underscore file.md. Enter. Now if we do the list command, we should be able to see that file, and there it is. We can also create a subdirectory within the directory that we're currently in. So to make a subdirectory, it's mkdir, make directory, and we can call that new underscore directory, not node.md because it's not a document, it's just a directory, it's just a folder. So make directory, enter. If we do the list command again and press enter, we can see that now we have that new directory as well as that new file with the MD file extension. To go into that new directory, we do cd, which is change directory. So change directory cd into this new directory that we created, press enter. If we do the print working directory command, enter, we can see that we are now in this subdirectory within the to be deleted directory. And if we do the list command within this directory, ls, then it should be empty because we haven't created any files or subdirectories within this directory that we've just moved into. So yeah, totally empty. Again, the graphical representation is here. So you can see that now, rather than it being empty in this to be deleted directory, we have a new underscore file.md, and we have this new directory that if you want to go back to using a mouse again, you can double click on that new directory and we can see that it's empty, right? So it's, as I said, creating new files, creating new directories, and navigating around your file system without having to use a mouse or trackpad. I would recommend whenever you're installing software and you're unsure how it works, or you're unsure what you need to be backing up, or you're unsure whether you might want to start afresh once you actually understand how that software works, creating a directory called to be deleted just makes it very clear to future you that there's nothing in there that's important and it's safe to be deleted. So it's good practice, I think, to install like experimental software or new software that you're not familiar with in to be deleted directories. Just helping out future you, so you're not confused where all these new files, new directories have popped up, and you don't know whether they're important, whether they're not. Okay, so let's just clean up and delete the files and directories that we just created. So which directory are we in? I can't remember. Let's do pwd, print working directory. Okay, right, we're in the new directory that we created within the to be deleted directory. To go back up a level to that to be deleted directory and out of the new underscore directory, we do cd ... enter. Then if we do the print working directory command, we should now be in the to be deleted directory rather than that new directory, and we are. We can do the list command again and see the new directory and the new file that we created. If we want to remove a file, we can do rm remove and then the file name and press enter. So now if we do list, that new file shouldn't be there anymore because we've removed it. Indeed it isn't. And we can also remove that new directory that we created that's currently empty. And if we do remove directory, rmdir, and then the directory name, and press enter. And this only works if the directory is empty. If the directory's got other stuff in, there's a slightly different command. But now, because that directory was empty and we've used the rmdir command, we can do the ls command and there shouldn't now be nothing in this directory, and there isn't. So there is nothing left in the directory that we're currently in, which is to be deleted directory, and that's what we started with. And if we go to that Finder app, the graphical representation, the file and directory have gone. So that's an introduction to using command line in a terminal. I might do a few more videos on top of this. I'm unsure at the moment whether to just point people in the direction of good resources or whether to actually do like replicate that material myself in videos. But for now, that's to get you started with command line. Command line really important if you want to be a technical user, especially if you have aspirations to be a developer and contribute code to a project. You have to be using command line, and you have to remove the addiction of using a mouse or a trackpad. Not how a developer should be acting when interacting with software.